Welcome to Bible at the Bay. Here we are in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, with our special guest, Rabbi Dr. Jeffrey Coburn, head of school at North Shore Hebrew Academy in Great Neck, New York.
Happy to be here.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
We're in chapter 20 in the book of Kings, and we have a narrative of a battle between an Aramean king, Ben-Hadad, who we met a bit earlier, and the king of Israel, Achav. And, they get into an argument, disagreement, right, political disagreement, which ends up in a battle on a mountaintop. And Ben-Hadad loses, and he says, well, maybe your God is a God of the mountains, so let's fight in the valley. So they go and they fight in the valley, and he loses again. And then the ensuing narrative is about their peace treaty and kind of the relationship between the two of them and their political entities. But I want to kind of reflect for a moment on the idea of a mountain god, because even if he's wrong that God of Israel is not just a mountain god, he is a mountain god in some ways. We see a lot of revelation on mountains, right, from the Ten Commandments through we just saw in the last chapter. What is it, right, about mountaintops that are kind of ripe for religious experience? So there's the theology of the mountain god as a biblical motif.
We see there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of mountains. And I think even in 2019, mountains are big and imposing and intimidating, and that's maybe the closest that you can naturally get the average person to being just dwarfed by the majesty of something much larger than you, and that's God. So that's why God chooses a mountain, whether it's the littlest mountain of all the mountains, as the Midrash says that Sinai was the most modest of the mountains, but it was still a mountain. Or when Samuel is anointing Saul back in the book of Samuel, and he picks a mountain on which to do it. Mountains are like a coming to place, and we saw in the last chapter also, 2 chapters ago, when Elijah does his battle with the prophets of Baal, he also chooses the mountain of Carmel. So there's something about going up a mountaintop and also the physical experience of getting up there that makes an impression on people. I don't think God needs to pick a mountain. I think people need the mountain to be chosen for them to have that experience.
There's something about mountains where people need the work of ascending a mountain, and that's even just what sort of sets the stage for any kind of religious experience or any kind of encounter with God or something above yourself. It's greater than yourself.
There's a certain Schlep factor. I mean, even like the city of Jerusalem is at the top of a hill. Now there are military reasons for that also, because you can repel your enemies. But when the Jewish people would go 3 times a year on Sukkot and on Shavuot and Pesach to make Aliyah LaRegel, they would make literally climbing with their feet up to Jerusalem, up to the temple. I think that there's a psychological piece to that also.
Great.
That's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.